Hey folks, Jonathan here. Working on our 53 Ford. I figured I'd take a couple hours. This is Thanksgiving morning. First, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. But it's pretty early morning. I decided I'd try to maybe bolt some of the bumpers back on this thing, maybe throw the taillights back in it, just make it a little more presentable. And of course I was going to put that back window in. And the new rubber, which is for a 53 Ford, but it's not for this window. I think this is actually for a station wagon back window, is what I can tell. So we don't have the right rubber for it. Kind of throw the wrench in things. I was going to clean it up, put a little bit of paint on it, and get it in there. So we're going to go ahead and order the rubber, because I know a lot of people, that's something that they don't want to mess with. So we can get the back window in it. That'll help the next person out for sure. And trying to clean it out. I'm going to put all the parts that don't go to it in storage here in a bus, and you know, try to get everything that goes to it arranged. And of course I'm not finding any screws or bolts and stuff, so we're missing most of that. And I'm going to have to get all the window tracks back in, and it's just it's a mess of stuff, and we're hoping that we're not missing anything. And of course you know we are. I mean, that's the way that goes. And matter of fact, I'm only seeing for window track is what right there. So hopefully I can come up with the parts, or the parts will be in this car somewhere, or in the back of it there. But floors, you know, like I said, they're not too bad. They're, you know, they're not exact back to factory, so I'm sure the carpet wouldn't fit perfect in it, but you know, they are done and solid. But let me see, I stuck the grill in it. I didn't bolt it in or anything. I just wanted to see what it was going to look like, make sure I had all the parts. So besides that panel being bent up right there, it looks pretty good. And I think I can bend that down enough and then get the bumper on it and make it look a whole lot better anyway. And yeah, the bumpers are pretty straight. They're not perfect, you know, they need painted or re-chromed. And of course, you know, most people's not going to re-chrome them on this car. You know, it's a Mainline, so it's not a valuable car to start with, but you know, it's worth saving though. All right, I'm going to keep playing with it a little bit, and I'll show you more as I go. Okay folks, we got the back bumper on. And it's not lined up or anything, but I mean, it's on. Got to pick up on it a little bit to tighten it down, but we're going to see if we can get the front one on. Got my son helping me here this morning. We got most of this straightened out, and see if we can get it up on there. Okay folks, it's the next day, and day after Thanksgiving. Now, yesterday morning before we actually stopped to go eat, I did get the front bumper on and shoved the grill in it, and got most of it cleaned out, not all of it, but the floors, I just threw the seat back in there where it belonged, and the floors are all really nice in this thing. And like I said, they patched them in, but they done a really good job, and so they look pretty original, but got a few parts still laying in it. But anyway, stuck the wing glasses in it, and like I said, I've got to get a rubber for the back glass. I think what we're going to go ahead and do is probably slide that 350 in that automatic out of the Impala, the 70 Impala in it. And I've got it, I've actually pulled it out. I pulled it out this morning. Walk up and look at it here. Okay, I got it out and hanging. Come out pretty easy and no problems. And you know, we're going to take it up and pressure wash it and clean it all off. I've got aluminum intake, probably throw on it. Really, in all actuality, I should pull the transmission off, put a front seal in it, and put a rear seal on the engine, but I'm not going to. We're just going to stick it in. I've got two other straight ram's horn manifolds. This one's straight, the other one's tilt, you know, leans back. So I can show you. And we want to try to hook it into that original exhaust, so we're going to change them out, and you know, just mainly clean everything up real good. And we'll throw an HI distributor in it, and I'll fix that Elderbrock that was in that car down there, rebuild it or whatever we need to do, and we'll get it on there and see how that works out. I wanted to show you something on these mounts. Both of these motor mounts are bad or broke, but this is a 70 model, so it's got the short bolt that goes in, and the rubber's on the mount itself, which the later ones, you know, was on the actual frame mount. But this is the later style of this mount because it's got a safety on it. And the safety is this little metal piece sticking down that actually catches in case this mount breaks. And you can see this one's bad. It broke, broke off now, but them latches catch. Now, the mounts before this didn't do that, and they didn't really have a recall. I guess they had an update that they sent out for it, and kind of a weird setup, and I'll show you that. I used to have the paperwork from GM on that. What it consisted of was 2 of these brackets that went on the exhaust, and these 2 cables that came around and went across the A-arm shaft, the upper A-arm shaft, and that just tied the engine in when the mounts broke. And I don't see that as being the right way to do it, but it did work. And that was a kit that GM supplied. And I had a 65 Impala with a 396, and it just so happened that somebody had put the paperwork in the glove box from where GM had sent them to them, and because there wasn't any safeties on them mounts, and then when the mounts broke, the engine came up. So just wanted to show you that. And after I got to eat yesterday, I had to go do some towing, so I didn't get time to get back on anything. But I did pull this engine out this morning, but now I've got 3 tows lined up for customers, so I've got to go do that. But I picked up another little pump here, and it kind of reminds me of a gas boy, and you can see how small it is. It's a Gilbarco. I'm not familiar with it, and I didn't see any pictures of it or anything, but it's a model 50-1, best I can tell there. But I've seen a lot of these, they use them at airports and farm pumps because there's no prices on them, and I just thought it was neat. And so I got it to go along with the other 2, and I've got these for sale. I went ahead and priced them kind of high just to throw it out there, and we'll see what happens on that. And if not, I'll drop the price. It's easy to go down on a price. It's kind of hard to go up. So but anyway, I'm not going to post this. It looks like I'm going to be towing the rest of the day, so I'm not going to have any time to get anything else done. Okay folks, last night I was able to get this thing pressure washed. It's Saturday morning now. I'm going to go ahead and try to get a few more parts off, finish cleaning it up, and then put some paint on it, and then I'm going to swap the intake out and put new valve cover gaskets on it. Everything was leaking a little bit, but I've been real lucky on greasy engines. It seems like sometimes the dirtier the engine, the better they are. And I went ahead and checked the suffix code, which is the last 3 digits, and it is correct engine for the car. 250 horsepower with a 2-barrel carburetor, and the 300 horse had different heads. But we're going to go ahead and swap out the intake for an old Elderbrock I've got. It's a dual plane. I know the firewall's been knocked back on that car, that Ford and stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and run the points distributor with the new style intake, and then we're going to get that carburetor fixed that we found in the car, and we'll get it together. And the valves all look real good in this engine. You can see they was burning white, which is a good sign. You can see a little oil. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but there's a little oil on that one. That's, I'm sure, a valve stem seal leaking down, and that one's good and clean. And I mean, it's fine. I've got a reason for setting this in there, and I'm fixing to show you why. Okay, I showed everybody this, and the more I looked at it, the more I worried about it. Where the mounts are, where the exhaust is, and where that drag link is for the steering. To me, it looks like that thing's gonna be right in the pan. And what I want to do is set this engine and transmission in it, and I've got mounts and everything. We're going to bolt on it. We're going to set it in and make sure it clears that, because I'm selling this thing as being able to bolt a small block in it, and I sure don't want to get backlash from that. And it's making me wonder if someone didn't maybe have a special pan, or having an old Chevy Monza pan or something on it. But we're going to see if it's high enough to clear that, if it fits in there, and then we'll probably just leave the engine sitting in it, and we'll debate on whether we're going to hook everything up and go with it, or just you know, pull it back out and put it in something else. But either way, we're going to try to get it set in there today. As long as the calls don't come rolling in, the wrecker calls, then we'll be fine. But that was the deal with that. And let me show you another thing while I'm out here, and completely off subject. Picked up 2 jet skis a while back for the sheriff's department, and of course they kind of stuck me with them because there was no numbers on them, and they had no way of locating the owner or finding out whether they was actually stolen or not. And these are Yamaha 1100s, and normally motorcycles, four-wheelers, jet skis, stuff like that gets taken to the impound lot at sheriff's department, and then they'll cut us a check for the tow. But I guess because they was unable to locate or unable to find out who owned this stuff, or to prove it was stolen or anything like that, which I'm sure it is stolen with it being painted flat black, and numbers missing, but they decided to let me bring them here, or have me bring them here, and which kind of puts me in a bad spot with what to do with them. And you know, you can't sell them, you can't part them out, or do anything like that. And I didn't know if there was more numbers on them or not, and I didn't contact the Yamaha or anything, but I did find some numbers. I want to show everybody where they're at, just in case you ever run into a weird situation like this. Here's where the numbers was supposed to be, right here at the back. There would have been a plate inside there, and they ripped it out. Of course, there's no numbers on the trailers or anything like that. I lifted this up, and I was just looking, trying to get an idea of where they might be. You know, looking back in and seeing maybe if there was some engine numbers or something like that. But while I was looking, and you can see it, I noticed an odd piece right here, and it was about the length of a serial number, and it was kind of out of place because there was no reason for it to be there. And I decided to reach up under it and feel it, and there's the numbers. It's an entire another tag that you can't see and you can't really get to real well, but you can get it if you take the camera and stick up under and take pictures. I don't know if you can see that or not, but in the if you get some light up under there, you can really see it good. But anyway, if anybody runs into that, thank goodness I found the numbers, and we're waiting to find out if they have any information on, you know, if they're stolen. I'll be able to either get paid by an insurance company, you know, if they want to pick them up, and then or possibly the owner if they want to pick them up. And you know, I've had them for a little while here, but you know, I don't mind cutting a deal with somebody where it don't you know, rape them on the pocketbook, and that way they can get their jet skis back and I can get paid something, because I really don't want them. And you know, if not, we'll just see how it works out, and then you know, if I end up with them, I can always sell them. But like I said, we're just waiting on the sheriff's department now, figure out where they're stolen out of and all that good stuff. All right, I'll show you more. Okay, got a little paint on it, and let it sit a little bit, and just run in and grab me a bite to eat, and then we're going to sit it down, change that intake and everything out. But I just wanted to show you something. Bought new intake gaskets. They didn't have a regular set, they had a set out there on the shelf for the aftermarket, but I mean, that'll work. Valve cover gaskets, valve cover set, 2 valve cover gaskets. What they should be, but of course when you see tape on these things, you really need to open them at the parts store. That's oil pan gaskets all the way. I don't know if the rubbers are in there for the oil pan. Yeah, full set of oil pan gaskets in a valve cover box. So, you know, you would have thought they would have known that and, you know, not taped it up and sent it back. So now I've got to take that back and get a set of valve cover gaskets. My luck. Anyway, hope everybody else don't have problems like that. You know, we're going to throw some stuff on this thing, and then we're going to get it set down in, hopefully. Okay, folks, I've got it together enough to sit in. Intake's on, new valve cover gaskets, and got the exhaust on. And I like to use the steel gaskets on the exhaust. I've got them on it, and I put the newer model engine mounts on, and the frame, the engine brackets, and then I've got the new rubber mounts that go on the car itself. So we're just going to set it down in. I don't think we're going to bolt anything up. I just want to see if it's going to clear that oil pan and sort of kill two birds with one stone, because I really needed to get this engine out of that car, because I need to put the car out back with everything else. And I didn't want to take it out and store it, you know, somewhere bad where it's going to get wet. So we'll put it in the car and be able to shut the hood, and we'll figure it out later what we're going to do. But we're going to see if it's going to fit with that oil pan, because it kind of worries me. I don't, you know, I'm beginning to wonder if it's going to fit at all, or if it's going to rub or what, because unless it's above it, I don't know. We'll find out. Show you in a few minutes. Okay, folks, it's in there. I'm surprised. I mean, it does fit. It's kind of bare to get in. Got one of the exhaust pipes lined up there, and you know, the way these are, they run through the frame. You can't really take them up and down, so I may have to pull the manifold back loose to get the O-donut in and all that good stuff. But after looking at the distributor, you know, they had beat back on the firewall, but I can see there's no way they had an HEI in it anyway. So if I'd have tried to use an HEI, I would have had problems. So we'll just leave the points. And like I said, I don't know what we're going to do yet, whether we're going to even put this together or not. And this exhaust pipe here, I've got over to the side, so I'm definitely going to have to pull the manifold loose on this side, but not a big deal, not a problem at all. But motor mounts, I mean, they're not lined up in there exactly perfect, but I've just got them set them down on the plates, but they will bolt in, I have no doubt. And like I said, they've done a pretty decent job on that. And sort of a tight fit. And I do not have the cross member on yet. Okay, I just have the transmission sitting on this small cross member. Hopefully you can see. But so it's going to raise up a little bit more. And as you can see, it's off of that drag link. And the drag link don't move up and down. You know, it just moves up and down on the outer tie rod end, the inner tie rod end. But the drag link itself will just back and forth. So I think that's going to clear okay. I mean, it's close, and I didn't think it would, but it did. That was my big worry. But anyway, maybe you can see the bottom side of this car. You know, most of these things you won't get any good mounts on the body and everything, but the underside of this car is actually really in really good shape. And you know, it wouldn't take much to have this back nice. I don't know what mufflers are on there. They look like little turbo mufflers or something. But if we decide to fire it up and stuff, we'll know. But I've got other projects going on. I gotta get back on the rollback. I just wanted to check this out, and sort of a vacation for me for Thanksgiving, to be able to work on something, you know, I want to work on, or something old. And let me get the carburetor. I think this carburetor is about new. If it was used, it wasn't used much, and we'll tear it down. Got a heat choke, so, well, someone's already took the choke plate out of it. I see that now. I see that a lot on these things. It's missing, but it's not a big deal. Like I said, I've got everything in there where we can put a kit in if we need to, and accelerator pump, gaskets, and everything. The good thing about the Edelbrox is one kit fits all. You know, even with the Carter AFB on the new ones, you know, there's really no difference. And so anyway, it's in there. I appreciate everybody watching, and till next time, bye.